Today we'll discuss about enterprise structure and reference data set. Very important concept. Very important concept. So enterprise structure we can in EBS we can compare with multi-host structure. In EBS we can compare with multi-host structure. Enterprise structure is nothing but okay. And after that, after enterprise structure, we'll discuss about reference data sets and location sets. Reference data sets and location sets. These two are also very important concept. So before we discuss about the structure, let me tell you the enterprise structure is divided into how many classifications. The fundamental structure of a business is, look at here, legal structure, business structure, and then functional structure. Legal structure, business structure, and functional structure. Suppose let's first discuss about the legal structure. The legal structure is nothing but, look at here, USA Company Inc., USA Company 2 Inc., and then UK Company 1 Limited, UK Company 2 Limited. All these are our legal access. All these are the legal access. And then the functional access is nothing but the operations. The functional action is nothing but operations, sales, manufacturing, service, HR, IT. So the legal access is aligned to the functional access as well. The legal access is aligned to the functional access. Nothing but from the legal access from a US company, all the functional access should be performed. All the functional operations should be performed. And also we may have the subdivisions of So what is meant by this business access? Nothing but the divisions, the business access and division. Okay, so I'll tell you an example. Suppose if you take Oracle USA Company Limited, so it can have subdivisions. Nothing but IT division, non-IT division, staffing division. Okay, so the best example for divisions is I have to tell you the difference between let me go to the division slide. Okay, look at here, what is meant by division? Business oriented subdivision of an enterprise. Nothing but, suppose if you take Oracle as an enterprise, before fusion, Oracle is also selling PeopleSoft as a separate subdivision, as a separate division, and also it is selling JD Edwards, it is selling Oracle products. Okay, so business oriented subdivision. So in case of EBS, we can create multiple business groups. Either you can create single business group, or either you can create multiple business groups. But here in Fusion application, only one enterprise is allowed to create. There is no business group here. Here we call it as an enterprise. Enterprise is the main umbrella. It's a main umbrella. So all our businesses comes under the division. All our other business comes under the divisions. Nothing but if you take GE, GE is into electricals. GE Electrical is a division. GE Construction is a division. Okay, so the business oriented subdivision of an enterprise. GE is an enterprise, and GE whatever the businesses GE is doing, those are called as divisions. I think 9 or 10 unnattunna GE 99 unnaya. Chala unnaya kada. There are many other. Okay. Yeah, we can take Reliance also. Reliance is an enterprise, and then Reliance Supermarkets, Digitals, Reliance Footwear, Reliance Petrol are the business-oriented subdivisions of an enterprise. Okay, it's an umbrella. Under that umbrella, we can actually do multiple divisions, nothing but multiple businesses. Okay, and also I have a best example. Okay, and coming to this division classification, it can be based on the product, or it can be based on the geographical classification. As of now, we are discussing about the Division classification based on the product. GE electrical, GE construction, it's based on the product. And also you can also divide, it's based on the geographical region also. It's based on the geographical region also. Nothing but suppose if GE electricals and under GE electricals, suppose you are operating in different countries from different geographical places. So by that classification also we can divide into divisions. Okay, GE India electrical division, GE US electrical division. So that way also we can classify it. Okay, I'll go to the first slide. Again. Okay. And so under this legal access, we can have multiple businesses and multiple divisions. We can have multiple business and nothing but suppose if you take USA Company 1 Inc. Under this I can have multiple businesses and multiple divisions. So what I would like to say is the business access and legal access and functional access are aligned together while building the enterprise structure. Okay, so we will discuss about, I know that you are only 70% clear here, 30% is not clear. So once we discuss about each and every entity in the enterprise structure, again I'll come back to this slide so that it's more meaningful for you. Okay, and also I have some example slide also in the next PPT presentation. Okay. Now, so this is the enterprise structure entities. So what is the first enterprise? What is the first entity? The first entity is nothing but the enterprise. As I told you, there is no business group. Business group is replaced with the enterprise. And also in EBS, we can create multiple business group, but here you are allowed to create only one enterprise. So under that, these are the divisions. This division classification may be based on the product or may be based on the geographical classification also. If it is based on the product, suppose if you take Reliance Supermarket is a division, Reliance Petrol is a division, okay, and Reliance Entertainment is a division, okay, and the ledger is same, ledger is one and same. There is no difference between the EBS ledger and Fusion ledger, and as well as legal entity is also same. There is no change in the ledger side and legal entity side. Okay, and coming to the business unit, operating unit is replaced with the business unit. In EBS we call operating unit, but here we call business unit. So it's replaced with the business unit, and also there is much more scalability has been provided in the business unit level. Nothing but in EBS most of our transactions are controlled at operating unit level. So that means our scope is limited to operating unit only, but it is scalable here. So it is scalable here in Fusion. Nothing but in case of EBS, there is a concept called global blanket purchase agreement. Nothing but whatever the agreement that you are creating globally, that can be used for all the operating units. So only the agreements are accessible to the other operating units. But whereas orders are not accessible to the other operating units. But here even orders are also accessible to the other operating units. Nothing but other business units. Okay. In EBS, only agreements are accessible to the other operating. That is also global agreements. But here even orders also, purchase orders are also accessible to the other business units. Okay. I have a very good slides to explain that concept. That concept is technically called as centralized procurement. I have a slide for that. So I have 4 slides for that. So which gives more meaning to this concept, centralized procurement. Okay. And under business unit, again departments. Departments are one and same in EBS. In EBS, the departments are nothing but you may divide into HR department, and then marketing department, production department, warehouse department, okay, finance department, okay, and then inventory ordinations are nothing but from the inventory ordination level, either you can perform the transaction. Inventory ordination can be a plant. Inventory ordination also can be a plant. Okay, And the change that we can see in this structure is the first level entity business group is replaced with the enterprise, and the division is a new entity is introduced in the enterprise structure, and ledger is same, legal entity is same, and operating is replaced with the business unit, and departments are nothing but the finance department, nothing but you can also determine this as the functional access as per our first slide. This is also you can determine as a functional access. And then inventory organization, it can be a plan. It can be a plan from here where we do a production and we do the transactions. Okay, and it is also remains same. It is not changed. And what is meant by this one? Enterprise structure configuration. Enterprise structure configuration. You're asking something. Okay. The eighth one is nothing but it's not an entity, but it's a feature in fusion. It's a feature in fusion. Nothing but there is a setup called enterprise structure configurator. So from this setup, except ledger, we can create everything. Except ledger, we can create everything, and we can give a demo to the client. Once the client accepted, then only we can deploy into the application. Nothing but using enterprise structure configuration setup, using enterprise structure configurator setup, we will be preparing the enterprise structure of the client. Only the ledgers we are not able to prepare. Except ledgers, we can prepare everything, and we can give a demo to the client. Once the client finalized all the entities, so that we can deploy into the application, so that all these entities get active in the application. This is a setup. It's not an entity, but this is a setup. Enterprise structure configurator. This is called as ESC. It is called as ESC, enterprise structure configurator. Okay. And I'll take your questions after a few minutes. And once I complete with this each and every entity, so that I'll start taking the questions. Okay. Otherwise, the questions which you are asking are going to be my next slide explanations. Okay. Okay. And just only concentrate on the first one, and don't look at the other things, because we're not discussed about the other entities, so that it's confusing in the first slide to understand the other entities. Okay. And if you discuss about only enterprise, look at here. Enterprise is a mandatory and serves as an umbrella for entire implementations. Nothing but all the organizations created within the enterprise. It's nothing but, look at here, it's nothing but a headquarter. Again, look at here, captures the name of an enterprise, and it's a location of a headquarter. So you can relate enterprise with a business group. You can relate enterprise with a business group in EBS, but only difference is in EBS we can create multiple business groups, but here you're allowed to create only one enterprise. Only one enterprise. It's a mandatory one to be created. It's an umbrella of the company. Okay. And just now we discussed about the divisions. So the divisions is nothing but sub-oriented division of an enterprise. And then the divisions can be classified based on the line of business, and then product, or geographical. So line of business is nothing but, again, the verticals. The verticals we are into airlines, we are into telecommunications, we are into oil and gas, or either banking sector. That is called line of businesses. Okay. And again, divisions are optional configurations to be created. Suppose if you are not having multiple line of businesses, you don't need to create divisions. You are into only one single line of business. You don't need to have multiple divisions here. Okay. Divisions is an optional to be created. Okay. And if you look at here, in EBS Vision Corporation, vision operations is a structure. Is a structure in EBS. But here in Fusion America is a sample structure given by Oracle. In Fusion is a sample structure given by Oracle. In EBS, Vision Corporation is the business group. Vision Operations is the operating unit. Okay, so and inventory organizations are Seattle, Boston. Okay, the sample structure is available in the operations in EBS. In the same way, in Fusion also, in Fusion is the structure given by Oracle. Okay, in Fusion, suppose if you take in Fusion is an enterprise, it has a air system division. It has one division called air system, and it has a different division called financial services. It's called a different division called financial services. So this is one line of business, and this is another line of business. This is financial services business, and this is air systems division, air systems business. Okay. Any questions still enterprise and division? Any questions still enterprise and division? Okay. Now ledger is same, nothing but ledger is consists of forces, that is chart of account, currency, calendar, and then accounting method. Okay, and again you are aware of a primary ledger, secondary ledger, and reporting currencies. Okay, ledger is same, there is no change in the ledger. Ledger is same. Ledger is again a combination of forces. Is again a combination of forces. Nothing is changed in the ledger creation. Okay. And again, some of the example for the ledgers. Vision USA primary ledger, and then for EMEA region, we have two ledgers. One is France ledger, and another one is UK ledger. For EMEA region, EMEA specific region. Okay. So nothing but suppose if you take these pictures, this is India and UK. So you need to create one ledger for India, you need to create one ledger for UK, and one for Canada. China, no? I'm not sure, but we have to create one ledger for this country also. Okay. And legal entity is also same.
Yeah, Krishna, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, can two divisions have single ledger?
1 second, give me a second. Your voice is not audible. I'll increase my volume.
Yeah, can two divisions have single ledger?
Can two? Yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course, we can have.
Okay.
And legal entity is nothing but getting the legal authority from the territory. And again, legal entity is based on the territory policies. Suppose if you are doing one line of business in India, you need to create one. You need to have one legal entity. Suppose let's take you are into pharma. You are into pharma in India. You need one legal entity for India. And again, the pharma industry you are having in US, you should have one more registration in US for the same pharma industry. Okay. The legal entity is based on the territory and also based on the line of business. Okay. If the territory is different, then you have to create multiple legal entities. And if the line of business also different, you should create multiple legal entities. By taking one registration, we cannot do all the line of businesses, nothing but all the other businesses. Okay. For each and every business, the registration is going to be different, and taxation is different, and policies are also different. Yeah. It is also same. There is no difference. Okay. So as of now, we discussed about enterprise, division, legal entity, and then ledger. So legal entity, ledger, there is no difference, and divisions are nothing but subordinate divisions of an enterprise. And basically, enterprise is an umbrella. Suppose Reliance is an enterprise, and whatever the businesses, line of businesses, the Reliance is doing is called as a divisions. Is called as a divisions. Okay. And then business unit. So as I told you, operating unit is replaced with the business unit. Okay. Now while creating the business unit in Fusion application, we can select the purpose of the business unit. we can select the purpose of the business unit. Nothing but the purpose is nothing but the business functions. The purpose is nothing but the business functions. A business unit can be configured for all these business functions. All these business functions are either one of them, or combination of them, So the business unit purpose can be selected based on the business functions while creating the business unit. Okay, suppose if you are selecting requisition business function, so from this business unit we can create requisitions. If you are selecting purchasing business function, from this business unit we can raise purchase orders. If you are selecting receiving function, so that from this business unit we can perform receiving, and then invoicing in the same way. So the purpose of the business unit, can be selected based on the business functions that we configure to the business unit. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Now I'm just explaining you what is procurement business unit, and what is requisition business unit, and what is invoicing business unit. So what kind of business unit types we can have? Suppose I created one business unit by enabling only purchasing function, so that business unit is called as a procurement business unit. Suppose I create a business unit with only requisition business function, so that business unit is called as a requisition business unit. Okay, that is nothing but the business unit types: procurement business unit, requisition business unit, and then invoicing business unit. Okay, now while creating the business unit, these are the business functions that can be selected. Suppose if you look at here carefully, there is a business function called procurement. There is a business function called procurement I enabled. There is a business function called receiving. There is a business function called requisitioning. Okay, so all these are the business functions that can be selected for a business unit. What is the business unit name here? VK3 business unit. For this business unit, we can configure the business functions. Okay, what are the business functions that are configured here? Payables, payable invoicing. That means invoices can be created and payments can be done. And then procurement business unit, receiving business unit, and then requisition business unit. While creating the business unit, we can select the business functions from this page. Okay, whatever the business functions that you are selecting by keeping the procurement flow, PTP flow, by keeping this flow, we can select here. So to perform entire procurement flow for a business unit, we have to select from the requisition to the invoicing. And payments, so that business unit will be considered as a PTP enabled business unit. And we'll discuss about the centralized procurement concept in business unit. So as an example, we are taking multiple business units here. One business unit is from USA, and another is business unit from UK, and then Australia and India. Okay, and each and every business unit is configured for multiple business functions. Okay, but here USA is only configured for 3 business functions, and UK is configured for only one business function, that is procurement, and Australia is also only for 2, and then India is only for 2 again. Okay, now we have a question here. Now coming to the India and Australia, they can only request and they can only invoice. But what about the purchases? So India and Australia has to rely on either UK, because UK is a procurement enabled business function, business unit. So India and Australia has to rely on UK. Otherwise, only UK is only configured as a procurement, because US is also configured for procurement. So that Australia and then India can be rely on either UK or can rely on USA. Suppose if you take here, look at here. If you take here, the Australia and then India can procure the services from the UK, and also as well as can procure the services from the USA also, because it is configured as a procurement business unit. Okay, but here why the pointing is only to the UK? Because the UK has configured only for the procurement business functions. That means it is a centralized place where all the purchasing is controlled. is a centralized place where all the purchasing is controlled. Nothing but if you are suppose let's take there is an item, that item requested 100 quantity here, the same item is requested for 100 quantity here, and the same item is requested under US also 100 quantity. So totally how much quantity need to be processed from UK? 300 quantity. So 300 quantity has to be processed from UK, so that when you are negotiating with the supplier, you can get the best price. You can get the best price because you are trying to order how much? 300. You are trying to order 300 from UK. So 100 is from India, 100 is from Australia, 100 is from USA. Okay, this is called a centralized procurement enabled. This is called centralized procurement enabled. Okay, and while defining the India business unit, for India business unit, what should be the procurement business unit? UK. What should be the procurement business unit? UK. So that we have to configure in the system. When you create a business unit, you have to enter here what is a payable service provider and what is a procurement service provider. What is a procurement service provider? You have to define in the system. Okay, when you are defining the business unit, if you enter the procurement service provider as these two business unit, so that means this business unit can procure from US1 business unit or can be procured from himself, VK3 business unit also. Okay, now I'll tell you an example like this. Suppose let's take India business unit. While you are configuring India business unit, you have to select procurement business unit. So what is the procurement business unit here? UK business unit is a procurement business unit. And also suppose if you enter USA business unit here, so that India business unit procurement service providers are UK and USA both. Got it? So while you are defining the business unit, you have to select the service providers. Look at the technical term, service providers. The same technical term is also used in application, service provider. Okay, for this India business unit, who is the procurement service provider? UK and USA. Suppose if you don't put USA here, so that India business unit service provider is only one, that is UK business unit. Okay, and while configuring USA business unit, USA business unit can rely on UK also, and also it can rely on itself also, because USA business unit is also configured for procurement business function. So that you can enter here like this, US business unit. That means USA business unit can rely on UK business unit or can rely on himself as a procurement service provider. In the same way, payable service provider. That is taken from that setup configuration is explained in this slide. Okay, this is the business unit. While defining the business unit, what is a payable payment service provider and what is a procurement service provider? What is a procurement service provider? And this is also one of the best example. And suppose here if you look at here, decentralized procurement. As of now, this is the most of the function it is happening in EBS. Requisition is happening in only one operating unit. The same we are sourcing under the same operating unit. We are buying under the same operating unit. We are paying under the same operating unit. This is what happened in EBS. Okay, but here in Fusion, you can configure these three models. Look at here. This is complete shared services. Business unit and business unit 2 is only requesting. But the other business unit, what it is doing? it is sourcing, it is buying, and it is paying, and internally it is generating intercompany invoice. It is also directly paying. This is called complete shared services. This is called complete shared services. It is negotiating, it is buying, and it is also paying, and it is generating intercompany invoice. Okay. And here if you look at here, this is centralized sourcing and local execution. Centralized sourcing and local execution. That means sourcing is happening under one business unit. That means you are negotiating with the supplier. You are negotiating with the supplier, but the buying is happening locally here. Local execution. The buying is and paying is happening in the local. This is called local execution. Okay. And this is, look at here, transfer procurement to local business unit. Nothing but it's requesting and it's sourcing and buying, and it is transferring to the other business unit. It is transferring to the other business unit. Okay. So this is transfer procurement to the local business unit. Local business unit is nothing but, okay, that's fine. You are actually buying here. You are buying for other business unit. You are buying for the other business unit so that the supplier will deliver the goods to here, and this business unit will make the payment, and intercompany invoice will be created. That means from here also we can do the buy, and also we can transfer that to the local business unit also. Okay. So any type of execution is possible in Fusion with the flexibility that we have got in the business unit level. We have in the business unit level. So this is the completely new concept under the procurement. Under the procurement side, this is completely new concept. Okay. But whereas this is also available in EBS also, the centralized procurement is also available in EBS. Nothing but if you are creating a agreement, if you are creating a global agreement, that global agreement is accessible to the other operating units. Is accessible to the other operators. That means that we can say the sourcing that kind of model is called as like this. That kind of model is called as like this. Nothing but you are negotiating with the supplier you are negotiating with the supplier as a globally, but it is again a local execution. It is again a local execution. Nothing but the agreement you have to use to create orders on that under the specific operating unit. Suppose there are 3 operating units are there, A, B, C. There is a global BPA which is created. That global BPA, using that global BPA, again we have to create orders in the A, B, C. Local execution again. Any questions? The centralized procurement is also there in Fusion, but its scope is limited, but its scope is vast. And that is achievable with the business function configuration. While defining the business unit, we can select the business functions, nothing but the purpose. So this is the setup. This is a setup page, and here we basically create business units, and here we assign business functions. First we'll create a business unit here, and later we'll come back here and we'll assign business functions. Okay. And here we can provide the service provider relationship. Like I told you, procurement service provider, payment service provider, that we can manage from this task. That's why the task name is manage service provider relationship. So here we create business unit, and here we assign business functions, and here we can manage the service provider relationship with that business unit. And again, the data roles are automatically created when you create a business unit, but this is in 11. But in R12, data roles will not be created. The data roles we have to create. And again, it is talking about the data security. The data security it's talking about. Data security is achievable with the data role concept. Data security, nothing but suppose if you create USA business unit, then system will automatically create procurement manager for USA business unit. If you have that role, so that you are able to perform USA operations. But in R12, we have to map that in the list. And then departments. So the definition for his department is to achieve an objective, nothing but a finance department or a HR department. This is just a definition. And as I told you, you can consider the department as a functional axis also. As a department as a functional axis also. Okay. The functional axis is nothing but sales and then marketing, manufacturing, production. Okay. That is nothing but the functional axis. And the legal axis is nothing but the legal entities is a legal axis. And business axis is nothing but the divisions. Divisions and business units is called as a business axis. And this is one. Let me go to the next slide because we have one good slide in the next pages. And inventory ordinations. What is meant by inventory ordination? In inventory ordination can be a local or logical or physical. So this definition is talking about master ordination as well as the child ordination. It is talking about the master ordination as well as the child ordination. Okay, it can be logical or it can be physical. An inventory ordination can be represented as a logical entity or a physical entity. So use it to store the items and then transact the items. Okay. And there is one classification in the inventory ordination. There is one classification in the inventory ordination, but this is a screenshot in R9. This is a screenshot from R9. But clearly we can differentiate the difference between master ordination and child physical ordination. Suppose while you are creating the inventory ordination, if you select usage as item management, if you select the usage as item management, that is a master ordination, logical ordination. If you select the usage as items and inventory management, that is a physical ordination, child ordination. So while defining the inventory ordination, by enabling this checkbox, we can easily understand whether that is a item management ordination or item and transaction management ordination, nothing but inventory management ordination. Any questions? Okay. And if you take this slide, this is an enterprise and these are the divisions. I told you division can be based on the line of business or based on the geography. So, but here the division is based on the geography. So US division, Europe division, Middle East division is based on the geography. It's not based on the product here or not based on the line of business here. And after that, the legal entities and then ledgers and again business units. And business unit may have departments, sales department, marketing department. Okay. And this structure is more focused on the division and then business unit. And but whereas this structure is focusing on ledger, this structure is focusing on the ledgers and then legal entities, ledger and legal entities. Any questions? And as I told you, enterprise structure configured is a setup. So basically, there is a guided navigation. Which will help us in entering all the details, and then later review the configuration and load the configuration. Okay. Now, if you look at here, while establishing the enterprise structure, we can create divisions, legal entity, business unit, everything we can create except ledgers. Here you cannot see the ledgers here. Okay. And later you can work on the jobs and positions, and later review the configuration and load the configuration. Okay. And ESC is an interview based tool. which guide the process of setting up a basic enterprise structure. So create all the organization structure at one time or multiple organization to test multiple scenarios, and then review the configuration before loading it. And also later also you can roll back. Later also you can roll back, but only the problem is you should not do any transactions. Shweta, Shweta, Rani, later you can roll back. Later you can roll back. Okay. There is a task called enterprise structure. There is a task called establish enterprise structure. So using this task, we can configure ESC. Okay. So if you don't perform in transaction, again we can roll back also. Any questions? So as of now, we discussed about the enterprise structure components, and we discussed about the sourcing, centralized procurement concept, and also the main important is business functions. Okay. So I'll continue reference data set in tomorrow's sessions. Reference data set I'll continue in tomorrow's session. I plan for today, but I'll continue tomorrow. Any questions, team? I'm ready to accept your questions. So this slide gives more meaning now. So what is legal access and what is functional access? Departments and then legal entities, and then the business access is nothing but the divisions. Suppose let's take a division we are calling as a division can be based on the line of business. So that is not that's why that is called as a business access. What kind of business is aligned in your company? Structure configuration. That is like testing and going to and the production line. Instead of that, this is the project. Instead of test data, no, but for showing that testing also we can do that. Before no testing we can only structure we can build and we can review. But only the difference is we can give a demo to the client once it is built, and also normally we create ledgers from the finance system, and then we create business units from SCM system. But instead of that, using ESC is a centralized place where you can create everything except ledger, legal entities, everything. Using one task, you can build all the enterprise structure. It's a place where you can build all the entities instead of going to the other sort of other things. But as of now, no one is using all the features provided by Fusion. But slowly, once the consultants are comfortable with them, so then the consultants encourage the clients to use the functionalities. Okay. Normally, they are going to the place where they create enterprise, and again they'll go to the ledgers and they'll create ledgers, legal entities from the financial offering, and they'll create business units from the SCM offering. As of now, it is happening how we do in EBS only. But once everybody is comfortable with all the functionalities given by Fusion, so that they'll educate the clients. Otherwise, if you educate, then only client will know. Otherwise, client is not going to know about ESC. My company will start in our company. We call our team as a SAS team, PAS team. We call them. We started calling as. There is no IAS team. IAS team is Oracle. So I believe there are no questions from online. Okay. Thanks everyone. I'll continue tomorrow. Thank you. Yes. Bye.
Yeah.